Hi YouTube, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good, not bad. Kind of a wet, melty kind of a day. Gee, let me see what it is out there. I got a thermometer outside. My one on my computer says 2 degrees. Outside it says 30, about 29 degrees out there. So yeah, pretty nice for this time of year. Could be like snowed in from November until springtime, but yeah, it's not going to be like that this year. I've watched weather patterns enough to know with El Nino and La Ninos, um, rather El Nina and La Ninos, enough that I know what's up and lived all over the United States, so um, yeah, I know the weather patterns and the jet streams and all that. I've been watching it my entire life. We were supposed to freeze. That's what they told us in the 70s. Leonard Nimoy, Spock from Star Trek, was up in Washington with a parka on, a hooded parka, for like, they used to call them snorkel parkas. They'd like cover your whole face just about. So he's up there on with one of them telling everybody in the 70s. It's in Life magazine. You can go look it up. It's pretty available out there to go see what the scientists were saying in the 70s to all of us. But anyway, I mean, if you know their agendas, you do. If you don't, it's just like with Project Bluebeam, it doesn't mean everything you see in the sky is fake. But if you have never seen it before, I mean, these little people growing up now with chemtrails and whatever, or whatever they want to call them. And I've got a video where it's called, this isn't the topic of my video, though I just wanted to say this really quick. But anyway, it's, oh geez, and then it escapes me. They were working with, contracting a German company, our government was, to take their waste and put it out of the planes in our country and other countries around the world. I might, it's in my video. Starts with an H. It's a German word. Lufthansa. Lufthansa. Red Skies. That's the name of the German airline that is in cahoots with our country and other countries dumping their waste products on us. It's a fact. So anyway, I read the article to people and I've made 2 videos on it. I've made a video on the topic I'm going to talk about today. I have a video called Bugs Have Their Own Bugs. Hang on a minute. That's still not my topic, but it correlates. Just cheers. The crickets they're putting in your food. Um, it'll say modified, or it will just say the name, the technical name for the creature that they ground up. That heat doesn't even kill the germs that are on the bugs that they're putting in people's food, whether it's crickets or mealyworms or whatever. You might want to check my video called Bugs Have Their Own Bugs, or not. That's up to you. Or aborted baby fetal cells, with think the name of the country that did that company was Synthex, something like that. I have I have all the um available information to what I'm talking about. And what I am going to talk about today is the difference between eating meat or not eating meat, and giving you, like I have, an informed um, observation of both aspects, from raising my own animals to farming, actually tilling the ground. Yes, I drive a tractor, and I've driven big grain trucks, and I've driven cattle trucks and worked on ranches on. But okay, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a list of some of the animals I've raised. And for the record, this is just me personally. I raise chickens, rabbits, livestock, whatever, big ones, and uh, I can't even eat. I don't have chicken now, but I did up until about a few years back here. I could not eat my chickens' eggs. I could not butcher my chickens. I could not eat my beef or anything I raised. I just, I don't take care of a baby and then go and eat the thing. I just can't. Some people can. I can't even eat my own chicken's eggs. I don't like farm raised eggs. I'd rather have them from the store. And you would think, well, they're raised in poor environments. Minnesota is we produce the most turkeys in um the world, and have a lot of chicken farms too. And just 30 miles away from me is a town called Finlayson, and they have these eggs that are called peas eggs, Pease, and um, they have a beautiful farm, and no, their chickens are not abused. So that's where I get my eggs for like baking, and like last night I made a tater tot egg hot dish with green peppers, onions, whatever in there, cheese. So, but I'm gonna talk to you about um first off, if you're worried about the environment, just real quick, maybe join a horticulture group and actually go out and take care of the planet. Like, we developed the land we're on here. It was all farmed out. It was so, it used to be a cornfield, this meadow, and it's down in a bunch of hills, and we got a creek running through it. The farmer up above us, he couldn't get through anymore because we wouldn't give him access to his field. He totally flipped out. Well, he was poisoning. This creek runs into a lake, which runs in eventually to another river, lake, St. Croix River, into the Mississippi. All this water just moves down, and any pollution up above it is going to pollute things below it, of course. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the animals that live in a grain field. Um, First, I'll tell you about a few animals that I've raised. African clawed frogs, they're albinos. They don't come from here, of course, but snapping turtles do. I've raised a pheasant, squirrel, a robin, um, a baby deer, raccoons. Um, let's see what else. I'm talking, these are extreme odd. Um, Took care of a skunk and a monkey. Let's see now. My own personal weird animals. Well, that's really weird enough for like having a pheasant in the house, and people don't think, well, I had a baby mouse named Garfunkel. and ground squirrels, and I raised rabbits. And people don't think of all these little animals that are out in a grain field. But what happens to them when that combine comes through, when that swather comes through and starts smashing everything, or even tilling the ground? Um, what about the bunnies? What about the deer? I raised a baby deer that had her ears cut off in the combine for your vegan snacks there. Not a big deal. Thousands of animals in one field, frogs, toads, like turtles. You know, I raised turtles. Um, like snakes. I used to play with snakes. I used to love them. I still like them. What about all the animals in that field that are being murdered for your Dorito? Does anybody care? I'm just soy. We're a big soy producer here in Minnesota. A lot of things are, and corn and wheat. We have General Mills. We have Pillsbury. A lot of mills. I know what I'm talking about. I also know the humane care of the ranch industry and what that's like to be around, whether it's humane or not. There's some that are and some that aren't. I mean, I've butchered a lot of animals. I didn't have a choice. I did not have a choice. Then I did it when I did have a choice to get some of the meat. I killed one deer in my life. I could not deal with it. I didn't like it and would never do it again. But when I was a little kid, I was forced to go squirrel hunting with my dad. I had trained a dog that would help me, but I, yeah, I had my gun, but I didn't use it. I didn't like it. Well, I'd shoot it just for like target practice was mainly it. And I used to have to put these dead squirrels in my hunting jacket pockets and walk around. I would cry. We'd be out in the woods and I'd get so mad. By the time I had like, oh, say like a half a dozen squirrels, which are adorable, and I had these bodies in that jacket, I would be furious by the time. And I didn't let it go. I always would do something in retaliation. And my dad knew it too, you know. Maybe he did it intentionally for some Masonic reason, God knows, but it seemed some people, well, he grew up, when you grow up in the Depression times, they were eating things. Their dad left their mom with 5 kids out in the country in a house that with a leaky roof, no heat, and no food. This is Depression time. What are you going to do? You're going to do anything you can to survive. When I'm trying to say the difference between virtue signaling that you're a vegan, um, and it is, there's conditions in people's lives that um, no amount. I'm allergic to like asparagus, all peas and legumes, and I had a Mayo Clinic skin test for all my allergies. You wouldn't think that would include like whole grains and like I say, all legumes and corn and tomatoes, and I mean so many things. It's just wild. The list that hurts me. Um, when I was a young woman There was times in my life where I could not get enough iron through a vitamin that I needed to run my body because it would not stop bleeding. The the strength that it took to operate my body couldn't be done with broccoli. I love broccoli. I'm just saying this is the truth. What I'm telling you is true. There's some conditions out there. M- My youngest son also has the low iron thing. I don't know if he still does. He used to have that. I had to watch him very carefully so, he didn't get sick. Uh, yeah, just people, just keep that in mind. Not everybody's the same. And when you're spouting that you're a vegan, that's awesome. There's a lot of us that have been actually, like, have you ever got a load of manure and spread it around trees and planted? Have you ever spent thousands of dollars planting trees for air for people? When they talk about the methane from a cow that can be used in other areas for fuel, but then you're not thinking about that bunny, that pheasant, that prairie chicken, whatever, the ducks in a nest, whatever is being ripped up by that farming, thousands of animals, you know, you're not even going to eat a whole animal if it's a big one by yourself in a year, but you'll be dependent on thousands of lives, and we're not even talking the insects. Or worms, we're just talking little bitty animals, shrews, like I say, ground squirrels, bunnies. The list goes on and on for the animals that live on the ground, in the brush, in these fields. What I'm telling you is absolutely true. Does this make any sense to you? I mean, um, some of us older people have gone meatless for years, and um, it depends on your body. It depends on you. So, and there's times where you might actually need that muscle protein to develop your own protein. I'm going to tell you like it is right here, right now. If you were to go into battle against me and I had just got through eating a piece of jerky and you just had a carrot, my energy level and endurance is going to be superior. There was a weightlifter, I don't remember his name. He died. He was vegan. Um, yeah, he learned a little too late, is what I'm saying. But there's nothing honorable about eating the grains off the. I farmed. I've done it myself. This is If you had raised my baby deer after the combine got her, she had a little nub here. This one was down to the in bone. She was 2 days old. The mother would not take her back. It's not a big deal. Her name was Muffy. Not a big deal, eh? So your French fry is more important than muffin. I'm just trying to bring some sense into this where there is a division among people, for maybe people actually do feel bad if they feel like they need that animal protein, you know. You don't know their conversation between our creator and their personal self, but it seems to be quite the war out here between people that have never taken care of livestock or milked a cow or driven a tractor or any of these very hard, laborious jobs, but can virtue signal on something that they don't have enough information about. And I know you've heard this before, maybe from people that are reciting something that they actually don't know personally, but I'm telling you personally what that's like. I even quit fishing. The only thing I ever wanted to do was catch a big northern pike, and they have teeth too. Wicked. All I wanted to do, because they're one of the cleanest tasting fish on the planet. Just wanted to catch a big pike, and I did. And then I stopped fishing, and I've been a fisher person all my life, mostly because I had to. Yeah, I had a garden, beautiful garden in early one year. I had just remodeled my whole house, and then my house burnt down. Yeah, a mouse. The firefighters thought a mouse chewed a wire in the wall, started in the walls, and it was about 2 and 3 in the morning, somewhere around in there. They went back into town that was 9 miles away. They had put it out, and it started back up and pretty much finished off. But there was my garden. Still had my garden. I put a trailer there for a while and considered rebuilding. The neighbors wanted my land, I wanted theirs. Neither one of us could actually build a bigger spot without the other one's lot. And they were actually my ex-husband's. My first husband, I got an annulment. That was his relatives that lived next door to me. So, anyway, not by, you know, I didn't move in there. It was actually, that place had actually been a great aunt of mine. So, anyway, my place, long time ago. But anyway, what I'm telling you is the animals that don't you like bunnies? You got something against bunnies and ground squirrels? They're adorable. I've had bunnies walk on leashes. You have to be careful. You have to train them so they don't break their necks. But I used to even put one out in the yard to graze. I mean, I had to watch them. But, you know, anyway, got something against bunnies? You must. It's like, cow's more important than a bunny. There's a lot more bunnies than there is that cow. Do they have souls? Does any of it matter? Do you see where I'm going? Do you see what I'm saying? I hope you. I'm hoping to appeal to your better nature and your sense of intelligence in there with the truth of farming versus ranching. Yeah. So anyway, don't be afraid to tell me your thoughts, but I know better, so you won't be telling me mine. You know, I've actually done this. It's the same with milk. Um, Cow would rather have you milk her than have her calf on her. But if you're smart, you can let the calf nurse keep the milk in the udders and milk her once a day and feed the calf once a day off the mom and feed the calf once a day off the supplement and still have milk. And your cow will come in and stand there for you without any shenanigans because it's and then you feed her really good and give her good treats and everything. Yeah, people don't understand. Then you have butter, then you have milk, and your cow is happy, and so is the calf. And then the calf and the cow, the only time you separate them is a few hours so you get the desired amount of milk that you want, you know. It's if you have one cow. If it's a big dairy production, well, I've known dairy farmers that actually, of course, they have like either fans or air conditioning. They'll pipe music through to their girls, and the girls come into the barn by themselves when it's that time, when it's milking time. These are not abused animals, just for the record. A lot of people and think what you want and say what you want. Have you ever milked a cow? Have you ever owned any livestock? Have you ever farmed? Do you actually know the difference? Do you want to hear the truth out of somebody that's telling you there really is no difference in those activities? The only thing different is the person either virtue signaling or up on their high horse with their carnivore shit. Either way, do you see? So, people, come on. Well, how about you listen to your body, what you know it needs when you're eating, and that's probably what your body needs, you know? I love salads. I mean, I can have lettuce and I do eat some of the things I'm not supposed to have, like nuts and seeds and those. Yeah, I do. I do. I'm not even supposed to have raisins or, like I say, grains like oats, and I'm better off eating white rice than I am brown rice. I'm allergic to brown rice. I'm allergic to cracked wheat or wheat products. But if I eat the white flour, I'm better off than I am sometimes. I do listen to my body, yeah, and you know, anyway, I hope some of this kind of reached you a little bit as far as the virtue signaling thing. It just, every time somebody does that, I think a muffin, and I kind of go crazy inside because it's like, you think you're not killing to have your vegan ways, but I'm telling you, you're killing more animals than you would ever do by having a hamburger. I'm just telling you the truth. You know, you say, well, vegetables don't have eyes. Well, my muffin did. Bunnies do. Ground squirrels do. Toads do. Frogs do. I raised a baby newt, or my newt, you know, like lizards and other little salamanders, other little creatures. There's thousands of them in one field, thousands of them. And that's not even the bugs. So just consider what this situation we're in and the push for the government to get you to eat their crickets. Just consider what actually is going on with Bill Gates buying up farmland and this push for you to become entirely vegan, which I'm not down on, don't get me wrong. You know, Doug spent years making his own tofu. Now, I'm somebody that actually likes tofu, but we don't eat a lot of it anymore. But every once in a while, I do get in the mood to get some. Um, if you like coat it and fry it, and or chunk it out, and you can make like sweet and sour type of stuff with it, or you know. I like breaded mushrooms. I'm allergic to tofu and mushrooms. See how many things I'm actually allergic to that everybody's. I If I showed you my list, like I said, you'd be like, well, what can she eat? Then you'd start understanding that not everybody's body is the same, you know. Yeah, I just wanted to touch on that today because I do envision Muffy every time somebody's virtue signaling like that, and they've never been on a farm or a ranch, and they really don't know the difference. So I thought out of compassion, instead of just jumping somebody's shit because they're ignorant of the facts, I thought I'd try and reach people, and if you find it valuable to reach other people with the facts, or if you got something against deers and bunnies and all the rest of creatures that live on the earth, when we rip it up to farm it with all that polluting ways of that environment and industry. Um, yeah, okay. The carbon footprint is the big factories like China pumping out and belching out. It's not you or I. It's not the thousands of plants and trees and native things that I've put back on this piece of land, because I don't see very many other people actually developing a piece of land, but they're virtue signaling at me, you see. And I'm somebody that might have hit you if you even threw a wrapper out the window if you were in the same vehicle as me. So, before we all get all huffy on who's better and who's doing what, acquire the knowledge so you can inform other people of the facts so they can make an informed decision on this whole thing. And there isn't any division in it unless you put it there. Do you see? So that's my topic today. The difference, or is there? Okay. I love you all. I appreciate you joining me. Have a wonderful week ahead. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.